Is this thing gone? Hi guys, I am Brittany Patrice, and I decided to start a channel called Sit with Brit. So welcome. I am starting Sit with Brit because when I have conversations with my friends and sometimes my family as well, I'm always like, dang, I wish we was being recorded or we deserve a reality TV show because the things we say are wild. And I started this thing on Instagram when I used to post Starbucks drinks, and I called it Sit with Brit. I stopped doing it because internet people are mean and weird, and money as well, because Starbucks is expensive. But I stopped doing it, but I really like the name, so I decided to continue that, but have more conversations with people that I have on an everyday basis, while sipping our favorite cocktail, our favorite drink. Some of my friends don't drink, so water, coffee, things like that. I wanted to do my first video with just me, so you guys can get to know me a little better. I decided I wanted to share my story about suicide. I've shared some things on the internet, but I've never really fully told my story, because there's only so many things you can say with words, right? And this is new to me. Talking on camera is wild. But here I am. So my concoction for today is a grande chicken espresso in a venti cup. Let me put you on, because sometimes they'll feel it like right there, but sometimes they'll feel it all the way. Game changer. Um, Oat milk blonde espresso, 4 pumps of sugar-free vanilla, 1 pump of caramel syrup, 3 pumps of white mocha, and extra caramel drizzle. Y'all drink out the cup or y'all drink out the straw? No judgment, just asking. So I'm gonna try and get through this without crying, because I'm a crybaby, and this story is not an easy one to tell. I don't think I fully have told anyone my story, so you guys are the first. So back in November of 2010, I tried to take my own life. I sent messages to my family and my friends, nothing crazy, just saying I love you, basically. I proceeded to go onto my balcony that was attached to my room at that time. I was still in college. I was actually 1 month away, or not even a month. I was a few weeks away from graduating. And took a few bottles of pills and just waited. My roommate was the one who found me. I don't remember much, obviously, but I know she called 911, the ambulance came, and I was taken to the hospital. My stomach was pumped, and then I was Baker Act for 3 days, mandatory. I was sent to a facility called Appalachia Center, which is in Tallahassee, Florida, and I was there for 3 days leading up to Thanksgiving. The 3 days I was there, the first day I got there, you think of these facilities as places that, and I don't mean to offend anybody when I say this, but you think of these places are people who have serious mental health issues, who are borderline like psychotic, that don't know how to control their impulses. And honestly, thinking back on it now, that's what I needed, I guess. But at that time, I didn't believe I needed to be there. So I had like this huge attitude problem. But on top of that, I was like scared because I was alone, and I had just attempted to take my own life. So it was just all these feelings that were like mixed inside of me. And when you're checked in there, they check you for make sure you don't have anything that can harm you. So I had a FSU hoodie on, and they took the string out of that. They took the wires out of my bra. And the guy that checked me in, I'll never forget what he said to me. He said, "Damn, well, all the crazy ones gotta be fine." Y'all, whew, I that has lived with me since 2010 because I often think about what my future husband would think. Hell, what my friends would think if they knew my story. That's what I thought before I actually started sharing my story. And that's why it took me so long to open up about it, because I didn't think anybody would understand. I thought people would call me crazy. And my feelings were legitimate because that guy said that when I was released. A friend of mine who was actually there, well, a friend at that time, she's no longer my friend for obvious reasons, but my roommate called her over because we were really close at that time. She visited me at the facility. She was a close confidant at that time, so I thought she called me crazy, to a guy that I was seeing nonetheless. They used to work together, and he asked her, because everybody knew that we were really close. So he asked her, like, how's Brittany? What you do with your friends? And she said, well, she's crazy. She tried to take her own life. And that wasn't her story to tell. So with those instances, I just knew people were going to call me crazy. So I just kept my mouth shut. I didn't even have my best friend at the time. Like, I didn't want to be judged. I didn't want to be called crazy. I just didn't want all that. And I definitely don't want my future husband to look at me like I was a project or a task or something. But yeah, so I was released on Thanksgiving Day. My mom, my uncle, and I think his wife Gail came up. I can't remember, but my uncle Mark came up, and my mom drove back in their car, and my uncle Mark rode in my car. He drove my car back with me, and we had he and I are like this. We're closest in age. We grew up together, and we just had like a heart to heart. He wanted me to not feel like I was alone and that they were there. And when I say things like I felt alone or I felt lonely, at that time I was choosing people in my life that shouldn't have been there, or I was allowing people to stay in my life longer than they should have. And I wasn't choosing significant others right. I wasn't choosing friends right. And I felt alone, and I couldn't figure out why I felt that, because I was always surrounded by people, people that I thought I loved, and that people that I loved and I thought loved me, but I don't know. I had this nagging feeling that I was just, I was alone, and I couldn't shake it. And I just, all these other things that came about, like my boyfriend at the time broke up with me. I was facing something at school that I didn't even know if I was going to be able to walk, and I had never been in trouble at school before in my entire collegiate hell. When I was like in high school, middle school, elementary school, I never had any troubles at school. Um, so I was facing that, and I just felt like the world would be better without me. And some people may think suicide is selfish. And I get it. I understand why you may feel that way. But coming from someone who wanted to take their own life, it's the least selfish thing I think I've ever done. I thought people would be better off without me. I thought I was a burden. So it wasn't selfish to me. It was me being helpful. Anyways, I'm getting toe up outside, y'all. Mosquitoes are tearing me up. I must taste amazing, cause these mosquitoes are tearing me up. Oh my god. Where was I? I thought I was being helpful. And for years I didn't share my story. I would have conversations with people. I would see online that the way that you guys treat people who have mental issues, who go through depression, who have anxiety, who have committed suicide, who have attempted suicide, you guys are mean, you guys are judgy. I ain't want that, to be honest with you. And this is from people who were like close to me, and I just knew I couldn't share that side of me. So for years I didn't. I can't remember the first time I shared my story on social media. It had to have been during Suicide Awareness Month, which is September. And it was maybe like, I don't know, 5 years ago, 3 to 5 years ago. And it was because I felt like my story needed to be told. I felt like people needed to hear that they're not alone. People needed to know that they're loved and they're cared for. And not everyone looks like what they're going through. And when I shared it, the outpouring of love that I got was insurmountable. It was wild, because I knew people were going to comment, but I didn't know it was going to get that much traction. And it was kind of scary, because the more people that saw it, the more traction it got, the more people that saw it, and the more people that could judge me. Because it's still in the back of my head that I've been called crazy, not only by a stranger, but one of my closest friends. And so if a stranger could call me crazy, and one of my closest friends can call me crazy, anybody in between can. And so the outpouring of love that I received, though, was very eye-opening. It was very eye-opening because a lot of people And I don't use that term lightly. A lot of people have considered it, and a lot of people on my friends list, and I think it was a public post, a lot of people who it was shared with, I considered suicide. And you just don't know who in your circle, who next to you could be suffering in silence. And I'm so glad I allowed God to move me to do that. I'm glad I was obedient, because it was a couple people who told me just hearing my story helped them. And that's all I wanted. I just want to help people. I just want people to know that there's more to life. You're not alone. And there are going to be mean people out there. There are going to be people who call you crazy. There are going to be people who judge you. There are going to be people who think your decisions are selfish. And I can't tell you how to feel about that, because I still feel some type of way to this day. But I will say, lean more on the people who love you and who care about you, because those people are the ones who are going to keep you alive, literally. If it wasn't for my faith in God and my family, I don't know if I would have made it through that time. And honestly, truthfully, even the guy I was seeing at that time, the one that my friend told my story to and said I was crazy, he was so empathetic, and he loved on me, and he cared about me. I didn't feel judged when it was brought up, and it made me feel good. It made me not think about those people who didn't care about my well-being. So, that's my story. Yeah, I just want to be here. I just want to be a servant of God. I just want to help those in need. And for a while, I didn't know how to do that. But God put it on my spirit that by sharing my story, that's how I can at least start. So, yeah. What did the girlie say for the YouTube channels now? Like, comment, and subscribe. My videos in the future will not be this, well, let me not lie to y'all. I don't know how these videos are going to go, because it's not going to be scripted. They're not going to be pre-planned. They're literally going to be conversations with my friends, and maybe my family, but I live in Atlanta and all my family's in Jacksonville. But they're not going to be scripted. They're just going to be real ass conversations, having real ass drinks. Sometimes we may be shooting the shit. Sometimes we may be crying. Sometimes we may be watching Scandal. So yeah. Yeah, I'm in this area where like people are walking by, and like, I don't know, I must look like a unicorn, because I don't know why people are staring. Well, not people. There's one. Whew. certain people. Y'all, what was that? Y'all saw that. I know y'all saw that. Well, with that being said, it's time for me to go. Hope y'all come back. Next time is going to be with probably one of my closest friends. And yeah, see y'all soon.